I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, our weekly In the Money podcast, taking a look at the stakes races around the country. And we have 3 graded stakes races at Saratoga, a Grade 1 at Del Mar, and a Grade 3 at Arlington that we're going to take a look at for the Saturday card. And Jim, first, kudos to you. You touted Will Take Charge last week for the Travers, won it at a nice price, as Keeneland had 5 Keeneland sales grads win Grade 1 races. So well done.
Well, thank you. Every once in a while, the blind hog finds an acorn.
I had one little exacta with like Lucayan and used them with Vagabond shoes, and that exacta came in. So that was my best one on the day. Let's go to Saratoga. We'll start with their 8th race, which is the Grade 2 Bernard Baruch. 3-year-olds and up at a mile and a 16th on the turf course. And not a pretty nice little betting race here. Where did you land?
Well, the horse that intrigues me in here is a horse that has not been on his previous form for a long time, but I think Charlie the Presti here has a shot with Tourallure at a price. If you go back to 2011, he almost won the Breeders' Cup Mile, and he hasn't done that well since the Maker's Mark here in the spring of 2012. But he ran really well at Saratoga on the 24th in a $100,000 optional claimer. I think it sets him up really well for this race, but I don't think he can beat Silvermax. I think Silvermax is the controlling speed here. He looked awesome wiring the Ocean Port at Monmouth over a good field 3 weeks ago, and Zaw Approval is the other one here that he finished second to Obviously in the Shoemaker, and there's no Obviously in here. So I'm going to take Silvermax on top of Tourallure and Zaw Approval. I'm kind of pulling for Tourallure, though, because Charlie Presti is special guy that to Keeneland with the Wise Dan and Successful Dan connection. So I'm going to pull for Tourallure, but I'm going to bet on Silvermax.
Charlie could have a big day on Saturday. I like Silvermax, too. That turf course at Saratoga has just been playing heavy towards speed in the last week or so, and Silvermax will be on the engine. And I thought his last race, he finally looked like he was back visually and from a number standpoint back to where he was when he was really on a roll last summer. And I think maybe he's found his 3-year-old form back again. And if so, I think he certainly is the one to beat here. I'm going to use him with Za Approval, and also Tetra Drakamu. I thought ran a nice race first time for Bill Mott. So I'm going to he'll be a little bit of a price, so I'm going to use him with Silvermax as well. 9th race is the Forego, Grade 1, 3-year-olds and up at 7 furlongs. And it's awfully hard to go against the Fast Bullet Justin Phillip combo here, but I'm going to try to beat him with a horse that I may be a little bit of a price on that I think is making a class drop from the likes of Wise Dan, and that's Leah, Claiborne Farm, Adele Dillschneider horse. And Albert Stahl is 20% going turf to dirt, and this horse has not been on the dirt, but the trainer has a good knack with this angle, and this is a quality horse, so I'm going to take a shot for the price there with Leah over the Fast Bullet Justin Phillip combo. What about you?
Yeah, I think Leo's got a lot of upside. He's only raced 8 times, and he's been in the money every time. He fires every time, and he was just up against it. I don't think he's going to beat Wise Dan, but there's no Wise Dan in this field. However, I don't think that they're going to beat the entry. I think Justin Phillip and Fast Bullet could very well finish 1-2, and I can't separate them very well. He may scratch one of them, but it looks like they're both going to run. And I think Zayat's got this one over a barrel. I think Fast Bullet or Justin Phillip, either one is probably a prohibitive favorite here. I'm going to try. I can make a case for Leah, but I'm going to try to maybe give a little bit of a price with Saratoga Snacks. The horse has been even better than even money the last 3 races, and has won 2 of those 3. Steps up in class here. Like Saratoga, horse named Saratoga Snacks. I've got to like his 2 for 4 Saratoga with 4 races in the money. So I'm going to take Saratoga Snacks underneath the entry of 1-1A.
10th race is another Grade 1. It's the Woodward Stakes, mile and an 1/8 for 3-year-olds and up. Got a little east-west battle going on here with Paynter shipping in from the West Coast for Bob Baffert. Was going to be an interesting little pace issue there with Fort Larned, but Fort Larned has a little physical problem, and looks like they're going to scratch him in favor of the Jockey Club Gold Cup next month. So no Fort Larned, and that means Successful Dan, probably the other one to take a look at in here. Where did you land?
I took Successful Dan even before I knew Fort Larned had scratched, and my comments about Fort Larned was I have no idea what to do with him because I never knew if he's going to show up or not. I mean, his form this year has been hit and miss, and hit because he ran really well in the Stephen Foster and really badly in the Whitney. So with him out, I think Successful Dan's the pick. Cross Traffic just barely beat him last time out, and Cross Traffic is a great horse and may just be the best horse in training right now, except for Game On Dude. So Successful Dan is the pick. Charlie is going to have a good day, I think, and he came from far back last time out, but he can press the pace. And Paynter's the other one. Obviously, he got beat by Kettle Corn. I'd feel a little bit better about that race if Kettle Corn had run better against Game On Dude, but he was no competition in the Pacific Classic. So Paynter's going to get a lot of money, but I'm going to take Successful Dan over Paynter and maybe a cold exacta.
I loved Successful Dan in the Whitney. Got 6-1 after he flipped on the way to the track, and the odds started floating up, and I think the rider was maybe a little worried and kept him too far out of it. I think he should have been the winner that day. So, man, that was a tough beat. I'm going to go against him. It was tough because everything I hear, he's training spectacularly, and I'm going to take Paynter just because the speed aspect and the way speed's been playing up there of late. You know, you want to watch the races on Saturday if it's not quite as heavily oriented towards speed. You know, maybe you lean more to Successful Dan, and if you're playing horizontal wagers, I definitely use them both. But Paynter's going to be my pick. Looking at the way they've worked this horse, I think 2.6 furlongs, 2.7 furlongs since that last race. Wonder if Baffert thought maybe he needed a little more foundation than he had in him for that last one. So he looks like he's really trained him hard, and I think Baffert horses usually respond well to that. So Paynter's the pick for me over Successful Dan, and I had Fort Larned in there for an exacta play too. Now that he's out, I think it's cold one of the way or the other with Paynter and Successful Dan, and so I'm going to take Paynter on top. Mar Debutante is on the Saturday card out west. It's a Grade 1 for 2-year-old fillies at a distance of 7 furlongs. This race has produced several Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winners over the years, and I ended up going with Awesome Baby for Baffert. Like he wins this race every year, and this horse was very impressive in her debut. Great works. That last was, I think, 111 flat. She is stretching out from 5.5 to 7, and she's down on the rail. But I just thought she was so impressive that I'm going to take her to win this. Concave and another Baffert horse, Secret Compass, who will come from off the pace. Those would be the two that I would use with Awesome Baby. What about you?
I'm going to take a stand against Awesome Baby. The first race with her looked so good. I mean, she got an 85 buyer, which is head and shoulders above anything else in here. But sometimes those 2-year-old fillies and 2-year-old colts regress a little bit off that first race, and I don't know what kind of field she was up against. So I'm going to take the horses with a little bit more experience. I'm going to take Concave and She's a Tiger, who both came out of the same race, the Grade 2 Sorrento. Concave won, but She's a Tiger fought every step of the way, and I'm going to take Concave barely because she's got a little more upside with only 2 starts, where She's a Tiger took 3 races to get to this level. So, but I'm going to take the ones with just a little more experience. Among the others, Sprout has been visually impressive, but the speed figures are kind of short, and she's moving way up in class. So I'm going to take the 2 that came out of the Sorrento over Awesome Baby.
Arlington has the Grade 3 Washington Park handicap for 3-year-olds and up over a mile and an eighth. And this is some horses in here that have been fixtures over the years at Arlington, either on the poly or on the turf. How did you see this one?
I love a horse named Mr. Mardi Gras. I've won some money on him in the past. I'm not sure that he's quite what he used to be. He's a 6-year-old now, but he's won almost $1 million. He's 1 for 3 at Arlington with 2 seconds. And I'm going to think that he's proven on poly. A couple of these other horses in here are not as proven on the poly track. They're turf specialists, and so I'm going to take him. He's always in the money on synthetics. He's 5 for 5 in the money, so he's going to be right there. So I'm going to take him on top. Wilcox in, if he remembers how to run on a synthetic, because he hadn't done it for a long time. He's been exclusively turf for about a year and a half, but he could be tough to catch. He's caught a field with very little early speed, so I think they're going to take Wilcox in to the lead, and it's got Jimmy Graham on there, and that may dictate the pace, and he may be able to pull off with it. Gallant Eagle steps way up in class, but it's 4 for 5 at Arlington, and I'm going to take a shot on him to get in there at a price, but I'm going to take my old horse, Mr. Mardi Gras, on top.
I ended up on Wilcox in. I think he's dropping in class and does have the 1-for-1 on the synthetic at Arlington. I'm thinking he ran well and maybe a stake on the poly here at Keeneland, too. May have seemed like he ran second or third back maybe in his 2-year-old year. So I think he likes the synthetic surface. He's been keeping some really good company on the grass. So I'm going to take Wilcox in over Mr. Mardi Gras, and also I'm going to play him in an exacta with Color Me Blue, the one horse down on the inside. This is the last weekend for Saratoga. They'll run through Monday. So as you've mentioned before, Monday's a great day to come out for simulcasting, and it's a holiday, so there'll be some other great racing around the country more than usual on a typical Monday, right?
Yeah, and the closing day feature at Saratoga is the Three Chimneys Hopeful Stakes for 2-year-olds. The 7 furlong race, which is always a great race. And then Del Mar has the Yellow Ribbon, Grade 2 on Monday, and then Del Mar closes on Wednesday, the 4th. They've got one more day than Saratoga, but it's good racing all weekend. Saratoga has the Spinaway on Sunday, and the Del Mar Derby is Del Mar's feature on Sunday. So those two obviously are at the end of the summer. It doesn't seem like it should be that way, but they're closing up, and then next week Churchill opens for September racing for the first time in my memory. So Churchill runs weekends now in September. Turfway is no longer having September racing, so a little bit different look for September racing in Kentucky, and then Kentucky Downs opens up the week after that with $900,000 a day in purses. They're running 5 days in September.
They should get some great fields down there, so you can go out and watch football on the weekends and play the races.
That's right.
Jim,
great month to come out.
It is. Jim, best of luck on your picks. We'll be back to talk about it next week here on the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.